Well, hello once again. I guess this is speaker day for Dave. So I thought I'd post another video that some of you may very well find helpful. This is the tinsel wire that we're all familiar with, that is many of the speakers have for their connections. And when it comes time to repair or install pin tips on these wires, you can see they're frayed and they're difficult to get to. I want to touch on what Dave does, and hopefully you'll find it helpful as well. First thing I do is I take a sharp razor blade and I trim off as much of that outer insulation as I can, and I leave just as much of the inner wire as possible. And of course, at this point, it'd be impossible to solder or stick inside a pin tip, just by nature of the way it is. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Well, once again, I don't know if it's so much a secret. It's kind of a good idea. I take soldering paste. I'm trying to stay in focus with the camera here. This is a little difficult, so bear with me. I take soldering paste and I put a little dab on my finger. Put it on the wire, and for that matter, the cloth, just the same. And I wrap it, and I just keep rolling it and twisting it to where it's a nice conical shape. Once it's a nice conical shape, at that point, it's even so, it's impossible to put inside a pin tip. Alrighty, there we go. I'm happy with that. It is pulled together as well as it could be pulled together. But once again, it's impossible to put inside a pin tip. This is where the trick comes in. Take a single strand piece of wire. In this case, I just pulled it out of a piece of wire in my wire bin. Pull a single strand out, and you're going to wrap the end of this wire, and allow me to show you. You're going to take it, put your thumb on the end of it and hold it. And don't be afraid to wrap the insulation a little bit too. It helps to hold it in place. I'll usually wrap a couple turns around the insulation on the end, and then I'll work my way down the wire. And as you wrap it, you're going to find that it will hold. Whoops, I'm out of focus again here. Let me get back in here. Where'd you go? There we go. Wrap the wire, and you're going to find as you wrap it, it will hold itself in place quite well. And wrap it down as far as it'll allow to wrap. I would probably go a good 1/4 of an inch minimally. And at this point, you've got the insulation held, and you've got the wire held in place. And I'll usually cut it a little bit shorter than that with a pair of dikes, so that it'll slide fully into the pin tip, and it makes for a much easier and I'll leave it at that, a much easier soldering to your particular pin tips. And for what it's worth, what I do on my pin tips as well, I take a piece of wood, and I guess I could zoom out now. I take a piece of wood, and let me zoom back out here. It's not working for me here. I apologize. 1 second here. Doggone it, the heck. There we go. Okay. I take a piece of wood, and this is one I've used for years and years and years. You can see it's got lots of holes and lots of abuse. I use it for a lot of things. But I drill a hole in a piece of wood, just drop my pin tip in it, put some solder in my pin tip, and merely slide the wire we just wrapped into that pin tip itself. Makes for a very good connection, and it works very, very well. Anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Just thought I'd pass on today's speaker day, so I thought I'd pass on things that I do for speakers. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you following, and if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to ask. And of course, as always, until next time.